Hello there, YouTubers. What we have right here is the Okki Nokki record cleaning machine. This is something I got because I was finally just sick and tired of dirty, crackly, hissy, noisy records that I just could not get clean with that piece of garbage Knosti Disco Anti-Stat thing that I had. So you can see, very simple and straightforward. Two switches on the front. One for the motor, you can have it spinning in both directions, and another switch for the vacuum pump. And that's all there is to it. So now, let's go ahead and see how it's all being done. I have it all ready to go. Now, some things that I have noticed. First of all, this, you may see this bright spot in the middle. Now these, unfortunately, are metal shavings that come off the inside of your screw. There isn't much you can do about that. You can't really clean that either. It's just, that's the one thing. Of course, this is where the label is, so it's not going to harm anything. And then the second problem I'm having with this particular unit is this arm has a crack in the corner down there. So had a vacuum leak, and that's why I wrapped several layers of Scotch tape around this. That actually fixed the problem. Here we have our record, and I guess you can see really well that this is a record in all its dusty glory. So we put it on. We screw it down. Now what I do is I just run this in one direction. As you can see, the motor is quite noisy, but that doesn't really matter. Anyway, what I then do is I have this the fluid that came with a record cleaner. You can, or you should mix it with distilled or purified water. That's what I did. Put that into a separate bottle, and from that I'm just filling this right here, this bottle that came with the machine, because this is really comfortable for applying the cleaning fluid to the record. Now, as I found out about, you just go ahead, you push this, and when you're all around once, that's about enough. You don't want to apply too much, because if you do, it's just going to run down the edges and get onto the underside of the record. That's not anything you want to happen. You then take the brush. That's another thing. As you can see, my brush is kind of falling apart right here. It's probably my fault, because I once ripped out some of the hairs, and I guess that just kind of started a process. Anyway, what I do is I apply this. I really get it onto all of the surface, and then go ahead and change it. I hope you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of trying to scrape the dirt out of the grooves, basically. Of course, I'm not literally doing that, but, well, I guess you get the point. I'm doing all that for a couple of turns, and then I reverse the brush, like so, and then I go like this again. Now, on other YouTube videos, I have seen people doing all sorts of crazy things, like this kind of an action, which, well, I did try that, and it doesn't harm anything, but it also doesn't do anything. So I only do it when the record is like really dirty, when there is something sticky on there, like fingerprint grease or something like that that you can't really get off there. But normally I don't do that, because it just doesn't make any difference. So anyway, I think we did enough. So now go ahead and swing this arm over. I turn on the vacuum pump, and I guess you can all see what I'm going to be doing. I leave this on the surface of the record for 2 turns. You don't want to go and leave it on there for any longer. So 2 turns. This is going to be noisy. Okay, now as you've seen, right after turning off the vacuum pump, I pulled the arm off of the record. Now what I found out is if you just leave it on and just wait until it pops up by itself, which as you can see it's not very free to do that anyway, but if you wait until it does that, it actually starts spreading out the dirt on the surface of the record again. So that's not what I want. Anyway, now you have seen we had a lot of very fine dust on this record, and as I found out, if you have very fine dust on here, one go is not enough. So we'll repeat that process. I'm going to show you one more time. Spread out the fluid all across the record, all the way to the edges and to the middle, center, like that. You go like this. Okay, now you can actually see it, see what I'm doing, like that. It is advisable to listen to some music while doing this. This can get kind of boring. Anyway, when you reverse it and go like that again. And then, as I said, turn on the vacuum pump, leave the arm on the record for 2 turns, and we should be done. So, go ahead and do that. Okay, and that's it for the first side. Obviously I will be playing this afterwards, once it has dried, to make sure that it's clean enough. If it's not, I'm going to stick it on here for a 3rd time and maybe even a 4th time. But at some point, of course, you finally got to make the decision and say, well, that record is probably trashed. Okay, now here is an example of something that we don't want to happen. The fluid has gone under the record, so we applied a little too much. It's kind of stupid, so obviously I'll have to dry off the table now, and for that I always have some toilet paper ready to go, so do it like that, and that's that already. And now here comes the filthy other side. I'm going to screw that down, and well, obviously I'm just going to repeat the exact same process that you've just seen, so I'll be right back once this thing is finished. And here we are back again. You may or may not be able to see the transformation. I am done with the second side. Now obviously I have a bright light shining on this all so that I can get an idea of what's going on the surface of the record. Some more observations. Now right where the arm, the vacuum arm, stops, where you pull it back off, you do have some dirt remaining. You may or may not be able to see it where my finger is. Still kind of filthy. Now, usually you are able to brush that away with your regular carbon brush before you play the record. But that is the one thing. The other thing, once again, involves toilet paper. Over time, of course, there are these felt pads on the vacuum arm. You do want to clean those from time to time, as you do get quite a bit of dust and dirt stuck in those. Yep, as you can see, that definitely was worthwhile. Now obviously the used fluid has to go somewhere, and for the time being it remains in the machine. There is a little reservoir, but obviously that's going to fill up at some point, and that's what this is good for. It's a rubber hose that pulls out. This black piece comes out. What I do is I take a glass. This already has a little bit in it already from a previous take. That didn't go so well. But anyway, I take the glass, dump the hose into there, and I hope you can all see what's happening. You pull the machine up at the front, and eventually the fluid starts flowing. Oh, there we go. It is coming out. As I pull this up, you can see it really starts going. You want to move the machine up and down and make sure that everything comes out of that reservoir. Like so. Not sure if you can really see what I'm doing here, but anyway, that should be good. So I'm gonna clog this up again. Real good. Stuff it back into the machine like so. And here we have a nice example for what this machine can do. Now previously this fluid was clear. If we zoom in, you can see that is quite nasty in there now. Yep, that's all the kind of nasty stuff that adds onto your records. Now obviously this is not what we've just got out of that single record. This is, well, the reservoir, as I found out, is enough for about 30 cleaning cycles. So around 15 records you can clean with this. Well, there you have it. And here we have some more examples for what I got out of the machine. I just decided to take some photos because I just think it's quite remarkable. And here we have the record on the record player, all ready to go. You should already be able to see by the reflection. This is now nice and shiny again, no more dust. So, start this up. We're only going to listen to the lead-in groove, because if that is already all crackly and horrible and noisy, the rest of the record is not going to be much better. So, just going to lower the arm. We should hopefully be able to hear. Okay, well, the music on the record itself is not the best for any demonstration, because it's just rather loud all the way through, so no quiet sections where we could hear if there was any background noise. But I guess you've all heard, after the loud pop when the needle fell into the groove, it all remained relatively quiet, aside from some hiss that is quite typical for these lead-in grooves. So I guess this is good. This is now ready to be played, and then, of course, to be put away. And that's it. That's the Okki Nokki record cleaning machine. An optional accessory that you can get for this is a dust cover, but, well, I found that a record player cover that I had lying around fits it just as well. Thank you for watching, and see you again soon.